Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 6:30.
A threatening note written on a whiteboard in the Oregon State University Library prompted a closure of the facility. Thanks for joining us for NBC 16 at 6:30. I'm Jody Reynosa.
And I'm Alan Matthews. Sean Nielsen, News and Research Communications News Editor for Oregon State, says the Valley Library on campus closed at 1:30 this afternoon after the whiteboard note was discovered. Now, he says the note on the whiteboard directed everyone to, and this is paraphrasing, leave and save themselves. Police and public safety officials investigated and later determined that the threat was not credible. During the investigation, students and staff members were told to stay away from campus areas near the library. Students were told to use other areas on campus for alternate study, research, or other work. Valley Library was reopened at 4:30 this afternoon.
Summer is almost here and people are heading to the rivers, but there are hazards to watch out for. Just last Saturday, a Springfield man died after he fell from a raft into the McKenzie River. NBC 16's Christelle Kumwe caught up with one of the river guides to learn more about the dangers on the water.
That's the type of thing that got those guys in trouble the other day.
Whether you're new to the area or lived here all your life, there are new hazards in the McKenzie River to keep an eye out for this year.
A lot of new trees fell in the river with that snow that we had late in the winter, and then the high water that followed that snow moved a lot of the gravel.
Kevin Hawkins lives and breathes the river. He's with McKenzie River Guides, navigating the waters for 15 years.
Spots where we've been going for years are now dead ends, and you'd get in a lot of trouble if you went down the wrong channel.
What kind of trouble?
There's a lot of big new trees, and the water pushes people right into them. That's the really scary part, and it happens fast.
With all that experience and knowledge, his #1 water safety tip is one we've heard a number of times.
When you're floating down the river, it's really important to have a life jacket for everybody that's in the boat.
Let's say you forgot your life jacket, but still want to enjoy a beautiful and safe day on the river. Well, they've got you covered.
Any of the stores up and down the McKenzie River, they've got loaner life jackets in all sizes, and that's a program through McKenzie Fire and Rescue and the McKenzie River Guides Association.
Making it easier and safer for everyone to have a great day on the McKenzie River. In Springfield, I'm Christelle Kumwe reporting.
Hawkins says whether you think you know all about the McKenzie River or it's your first time exploring it, putting on a life jacket is the way to go for everyone.
And if your child still needs a life jacket for the summer, sheriff's deputies want to help out. The Lane County Sheriff's Office is holding its 9th annual Life Jacket Exchange event later this month. Experts will be on hand to check jackets for form, fit, and function. You can bring your child's outgrown or lightly used life jacket to the event, and it will be exchanged for one that fits properly. The Sheriff's Office is also asking for new or gently used youth-size life jackets to be donated for the event.
Lakes and rivers, we have so many water sports and great opportunities to get out on the water here, but it's just so important for folks to wear their life jackets when they're out there, and we use this opportunity to get the word out. They just need to.
Now, if you don't have a life jacket to exchange, Chase says it shouldn't be a problem to provide your child with the right fitting jacket. The free life jacket exchange event is set for June 15th and 16th at Cabela's in Springfield. You can donate gently used youth-size life vests before the event at the Sheriff's Office in downtown Eugene.
On to a first look at weather. NBC 16's chief meteorologist Carmen Rose joins us now in the Weather Center. Carmen, we get a cool down before that heat comes, right?
That's right. So we're kind of going through a little bit of a roller coaster of temperatures through the rest of your extended forecast. Right now, though, we are enjoying that sunshine, and that has helped our temps reach into those upper 70s. So not a cloud in the sky, at least not through this view, through our NBC 16 sky cam over Eugene. 79 degrees, so we're close to 10 degrees above where we should be. Now, didn't get any rainfall out of Eugene Airport, and no rain in the rain gauge at Adams Elementary. Their 3rd grade team here didn't see any of that rainfall, but the garden is growing well there with School Garden Project in Eugene, and we're going to continue to see some more of that rain. We need it in the gardens, we need it on your lawn. If you are measuring, close to 6/10 is what we need for this week from June 1st through June 7th. If you're looking forward to mowing your lawn, we have good conditions for tomorrow. It will be cooler, so that yard work should be a little bit more pleasant. Fair conditions on Thursday with a few spotty showers, and it's a no-go on Friday as we do expect widespread showers to move in and a few thunderstorms possible. Forecast lows for us, they are going to start to cool on down. We're going to stay mostly clear, so even though we are so warm, you should still be able to open up your windows tonight if the pollen doesn't bother you, with those lows dipping down to those upper 40s, low 50s for Roseburg, upper 40s along the coast. I'll have more on when we expect that rain and how long it's going to last coming up. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Carmen. While law enforcement agencies in Douglas County are involved in a special cause, Myrtle Creek, Winston, Roseburg, and Sutherland police departments joined the Douglas County Sheriff's Office in a torch run for Special Olympics. The goal is to recognize, support, and honor local Special Olympic athletes.
They just train all year long for their events, and it's really to celebrate all their hard work and accomplishments and cheer them on today, but always.
7 Douglas County Sheriff's Office employees ran in honor of the athletes. The 39-mile run started in Myrtle Creek and finished in Sutherland.
And as we mentioned, law enforcement agencies throughout Oregon celebrated 33 years of supporting participants of Special Olympics Oregon today. Law enforcement officers and Special Olympians carried the flame of hope throughout Springfield and Eugene today. 6 separate legs of the run took place with more than 1,000 officers and Special Olympians running throughout the state.
It's important to support it, get the kids active, and let them feel part of something important.
The run started in 1981 as a way to raise awareness and funds for Special Olympics. It's now a global event in all 50 states and more than 30 countries. In Oregon, more than 1,500 people participate in the year-round Torch Run campaign.
Cottage Grove police are taking to social media to remind people of a special service they offer. They want people to remain safe when exchanging goods when they meet someone they meet online. NBC 16's Alex Hassenstab shows us the simple solution that officials believe can make a big difference.
When Cottage Grove resident Sarah Palmer wanted to sell her furniture, she found a buyer online.
They responded to a post I had on Facebook for a couple things for sale, and I told them I would meet them here at the parking lot.
She used this designated internet purchase exchange location at the Cottage Grove Police Department to make the sale.
This is the safest place to meet up with somebody, especially if you don't know them, so they don't have to come to your home.
That's Cottage Grove Police Chief Scott Shepard on a security camera outside of the police station. He's showing the view police have of this special parking spot.
Creating a safe place for people to do exchanges, purchases through Craigslist, through Facebook Marketplace, through classified ads.
The spot was created in 2017 at the request of a community member who worried about the dangers of online transactions.
A lot of transactions happen via email or via text, so you really don't know the person. And unfortunately, there are people out there that take advantage of that.
Whether it be theft, a fraudulent check, fake cash, or worse.
If something was to happen during the transaction and somebody felt unsafe, they could hit their horn, they could start yelling. Somebody's going to respond quickly.
The security camera footage is not constantly monitored, but it's stored for around 75 days. So if a scam is discovered after the exchange, it can be used as valuable evidence. The spot costs the city around $200, which Shepard says is nothing compared to the cost of investigating fraud.
Prevention certainly saves everybody time and money, and that certainly is true for the police department also.
He says so far police hardly notice when the spot is being used, which he says is exactly what he hoped for. I'm Alex Hassenstab reporting.
We did speak to both Eugene and Springfield police today, and while they don't have designated spots, they say anyone is welcome to use their parking lots or lobbies as a safe exchange space.
Eugene Water and Electric Board is warning customers of a potential scam. According to the utility company, a person is going door to door impersonating an eWeb employee and attempting to collect money. eWeb was alerted of the situation by a customer this morning. They were told the individual was wearing a polo shirt with an eWeb logo on it and driving a white F-150 pickup with a magnetic sign saying eWeb contractor.
The big difference between a legitimate eWeb employee and this potential scammer is that any eWeb employee would never go to someone's house or business and demand payment. That just doesn't happen.
Harwood adds the utility company does have people in the field for a variety of reasons. eWeb is investigating the matter. If this should happen to you, they advise you to contact the police.
Well, coming up on NBC 16 at 6:30, an alarming health discovery regarding Superfund sites and just how close they could be to your children.
Plus, Junction City residents' outrage continues to grow as the water clarity still isn't up to par.
We have brought you some of the most talented performers.
NBC 16 News at 6:30.
You may never notice them, but the Environmental Protection Agency estimates 1 in 4 Americans live within 4 miles of a hazardous waste site.
And dozens of the most contaminated sites in the country have been cleaned up and turned into something that you'd never expect, recreational areas for kids. Investigative reporter Josie Sturman discovered there's not a lot that separates your children from the toxic legacy below ground in this Spotlight on America.
These cheering families likely don't know there's a dirty secret that lies beneath the diamond their kids are playing on. It's called a Superfund site. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Environmentalists consider Superfund sites some of the most contaminated sites in the country. They're the more than 1,300 spots nationwide where the government says hazardous waste was dumped or mismanaged. Over a number of years, they're cleaned up to varying degrees, but more than 40 Superfund sites have been turned into something surprising: parks, recreation areas, and athletic fields.
I would question whether you would want to turn it into a public facility where people are, playing, kids are around.
That's exactly what's happened, with signs of the site's past all around. For instance, the candy cane towers and spinning fans that run along the third base line here, venting out chemicals. And at other sites, monitoring wells that pick up potentially contaminated groundwater are tucked between the swings and soccer fields.
I believe they've done things properly. I haven't heard anything bad about it. I don't think you'd put a children's park on something that would be harmful.
As long as the chemicals remain in the ground, the risks remain.
Stephen Lester has been raising awareness about the toxic legacy of Superfund sites since the 70s.
If my kids were going to play on that field, I would want to have a certain comfort level in how much cleanup occurred there. What are the barriers between that contamination and the kids playing soccer?
We found it depends because there's no national cleanup standard. So this community park has a leak-proof cover that contains volatile chemicals left behind by an industrial waste dump, while this former pharmaceutical plant polluted by arsenic has just 2 feet of dirt under its new athletic fields, covering moderately contaminated soil.
As much as we know about so many chemicals, we know very little about what levels are actually going to produce adverse effects in people, especially when you have mixtures over long periods of time. So there's large uncertainty about this.
But the documents make it seem so black and white, with the Environmental Protection Agency labeling these converted sites protective of human health. The EPA wouldn't do a sit-down interview with us to explain or talk at length about Superfunds, but generally they consider them protective when the threat of human exposure is under control. Often, agency records show there are rules in place to limit exposure, but they don't always work. For instance, disturbing the soil at this Superfund site turned athletic complex isn't allowed. But the only mention of that is under the rules for disc golf.
Who's going to read that, first of all? Who's going to pay attention to something like that? Institutional controls just are not sufficient to provide protection for these sites in the long haul.
And it's the long-term unknown impact that raises real questions.
Should parents be letting their kids on these fields?
There are very few toxic sites that I would let my children play on without knowing anything more about it than what government tells me.
I'm Josie Sturman for Spotlight on America.
Junction City residents voice frustration over more brown drinking water flooding their homes. Homeowners are worried about continuing yellow-brown colored water and say it hasn't gotten any better. This comes after city officials discuss a plan to fix the problem Monday night, but many say it's not enough. The city's plan involves using chlorine now and installing pumps to flush the system this summer. The pipes are over 50 years old, with minerals building up along the walls inside them, but the water line running to the state hospital is 4 times the size of what it needs to be. Local officials tell us the state controls it and doesn't want to change the agreement detailing how they're used.
We were intended to use double what we are supposed to be using today because of the prison. Since we're not using that double, it takes longer for the water to get through that pipe.
If city officials pass their proposal, 2 phases of pump stations will flush the water system starting July 1st.
Well, we turn to weather now. NBC 16's chief meteorologist Carmen Rose standing by in the Weather Center. We've had a good run of warm, sunny weather, so let's cool down.
That's right. I think that may be welcome for some of us out there, but if you're not a fan of the cooler weather, we still have some hot weather on the way. I'll explain all of this in a few minutes.
You need to call IT. Who's IT?
Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose.
Good evening. It's been an even warmer day today. Lots of sunshine out there, plenty of blue sky, so temperatures have warmed into the 80s for Roseburg. In fact, one of the warmer spots locally at 85. Cottage Grove also sitting into those low 80s, upper 70s for Eugene as well as Corvallis, so we're still ranging anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. Upper 50s, low 60s along the coast, so still feeling good and a bit more average toward our west. Now, through the rest of your evening, we are going to stay on that warm side at least through 8 o'clock into those 70s after sunset, dipping down to those upper 60s. So still mild even through those late nighttime hours for your Tuesday evening. High pressure continues to dominate us. That's why we are so clear across the Pacific Northwest. But we are watching this cold front associated with this low pressure system into the Pacific. This will track farther south and east. And as it does so, it's going to help trigger a few of those light showers, a little bit of drizzle along the coast by tomorrow. It's also going to bring some cooler temperatures and clouds for everybody tomorrow afternoon. Even though we're so warm now, we will start to dip down to those upper 40s closer to 5 to 6 a.m. for Eugene, upper 40s for Coos Bay as well, and low 50s for Roseburg with just a few clouds out there. These are really going to start to increase though by tomorrow morning. So by 7 to 8 a.m. we are tracking a few of these light showers, a little bit of drizzle along the coast. Eugene though farther southward down into Roseburg, not going to be dealing with that rain for tomorrow morning. May see a few very light sprinkles. That's going to be it for us. A few of these showers though will build in over the foothills as well as the Cascades, but they're going to be very light, not going to amount to all that much. The bigger difference is going to be the temperatures into those upper 60s and 70s along the valley into the Umpqua Basin for your Wednesday. Same deal for Thursday. So that front will now be toward our east by Thursday morning. You can actually see where that boundary is with this rainfall moving through east of Bend. We're just going to be dealing with more of that cooler air starting to settle on in with a few spotty showers starting to build in over the foothills. May reach as far as the valley as we head into Thursday afternoon, but it's really going to be Friday where we will see most of that rainfall. Your Wednesday forecast, upper 60s, so feeling a bit cooler out there, low 70s for Roseburg, upper 50s along the coast. So it's going to be about a 10-degree drop from what we experienced for today, so you will definitely feel that. So good day to do some yard work, Alan. Then we're going to be tracking some more clouds as we head into Thursday, still staying into those 60s, upper 50s by Friday with widespread showers, even a low threat for a few of those isolated thunderstorms despite the cooler temperatures. Saturday and Sunday, very pleasant for your weekend. And then we are tracking hot temperatures, mid to even upper 80s by the end of next week. But let's make it through the cooler temperatures over the next few days. For the coast, we're looking at low 60s, upper 50s Thursday, Friday. Widespread showers there, clearing out quickly by Saturday and Sunday. So times out really well for the weekend, and that's going to be the same case for Roseburg, low 70s as opposed to 80s for tomorrow, 60s Thursday, Friday, 70s by the end of the weekend, and then we're talking 90s for Roseburg next week.
What kind of yard work are you going to do with this cool weather?
Don't be telling me to do yard. I did yard work this weekend.
Come on.
I want some time not doing yard work.
He wants to relax.
Alan,
exactly.
You'll take a break.
We'll get a pass for him.
Jody can do yard work.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I don't have a yard, but
I know one that needs some yard work.
Nice. Well, coming up on NBC 16 at 6:30, a disappointing turn for the Lieberg hatchery and its inability to get the necessary funding. Details in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
You might take something for your heart.
NBC 16 News at 6:30.
Well, this was a disappointing day for supporters of the Lieberg Fish Hatchery.
That's right. An amendment to fund the facility failed in the House Ways and Means Natural Resources Committee. This morning, Republican State Representative Cedric Hayden, who introduced the amendment, forced a vote on the floor, which was defeated in a 6-3 vote along party lines. The hatchery is expected to close at the end of the month unless $1 million in state funding is approved to keep it running. Demonstrators met with opposition today, arguing the Lieberg facility is key to the area's growth.
How involved that hatchery is. I mean, it's been there for 60 years now, and it's been part of it's been a pillar not only in our economy but our community. to lose it is really going to be devastating.
According to Davis, those opposing the effort say the funding shouldn't come from the state's general fund. They also say the hatchery is not always beneficial for native fish. Davis says the effort to find funding at the federal level or elsewhere isn't over.
The Douglas Education Service District is being recognized for putting new technology in classrooms. Douglas ESD was given an Innovation Award by the Oregon Association of Education Service Districts for putting cameras in classrooms for educators. It lets teachers record classroom interactions and lessons to later reflect on their work.
If they just watched 3 minutes and said, I'm going to keep doing this and I'm going to tweak this, the next day kids have a better learning experience, which is what we want.
About 6 districts in Douglas County are using the technology. Douglas ESD hopes more teachers agree to be recorded to expand the platform.
Well, coming up on NBC 16 at 6:30, a new giraffe has made it into the world, and it's a lot closer than you may think. Stay with us. Finally tonight, the drive-through wildlife safari in Winston welcomed a new baby giraffe. The girl calf was born last Wednesday, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall. She's the 3rd giraffe born to parents Maya and Mate at the animal park. The safari has yet to announce the name of their newest addition, but will do so soon. If interested, the park will begin offering baby giraffe barn encounters in the coming weeks. Wildlife Safari is currently in their summer schedule, welcoming guests during open hours from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with the last vehicle allowed into the drive-through at 5 p.m. Visit wildlifesafari.net for more information. And Alan, you said you have been there before.
We did a segment in the morning show when I was working the morning show down there, and we got to frolic with the giraffe. Well, not frolic, but we got up close and personal with the giraffes and the elephants.
So
it's fun.
What a blast.
Well, thanks for joining us for NBC 16 at 6:30. Join us at 11 as former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort may be headed to Rikers Island. We'll see you then.